we just noticed that at about the age of 2, maybe 2.5, a few things were slow. His speech, his cognitive skills were a bit slow.
Hello and welcome to Special Moms Africa, the podcast. Real talk on special needs parenting. My name is Obafemi Luther and I am your lead host on today's episode. I also have in the studio with me my lovely Amazonian drama queen.
Drama queen, yes, I'll
today,
take it.
Tonya Falugi Ekeze. And we also have the lovely lady in red, Mrs. Bukola Ayinde. Ayinde.
Hello.
Ayinde.
Hi, listeners.
All right. Okay. So today our focus will be on the connection between art and autism. Our guest today, Tagbo Okeke, is a proud father to 12-year-old Kanye, who has autism and has found
Kanye
Chuku.
Oh my God, we're so proud. Who has autism and has found his voice through his extraordinary paintings. Kanye now exhibits his works all over the world and is breaking ground in the art scene. First of all, let's remind ourselves of what exactly autism is. The University of Ibadan says autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a serious developmental disorder that impairs the ability to communicate and interact. It impacts the nervous system and the range and severity of symptoms can vary widely. Common symptoms include difficulty with communication, difficulty with social interactions, obsessive interest, and repetitive behavior. Early recognition as well as behavioral, educational, and family therapies may reduce symptoms and support development and learning. Veryhealth.com says, one of the hallmarks of autism spectrum disorder is a difficulty with verbal and social communication. In some cases, people with autism are literally nonverbal and unable to use speech to communicate at all. In other cases, people who have autism have a hard time processing language and turning it into smooth, easy conversation. Meanwhile, some people with autism have an extraordinary ability to think visually, which is in pictures, and many have the ability to turn this to good use in processing memories, recording images and visual information, and expressing ideas through drawing or other artistic medium. Art is a form of expression that requires little or no verbal interaction and can open many doors to communication. So today we can't wait to meet our amazing guest. Spoiler alert, there's about to be some big daddy energy all up in this house. Woo, 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 woo. Ladies, I wish you could see. Anyway, let me just keep my mouth shut. All right, so we're just going to go to a quick break and we'll be right back.
I'm Toye Falugi Ekeze. If you're enjoying this episode of Special Moms Africa, brought to you by Simone's Oasis and Africa Business Radio, then why not listen to our other podcast, Represented, Storybooks and More for African Kids. Now, don't forget to subscribe, put on your notifications, and share with loads of people out there. Thanks for listening.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. So today, let's meet our guest. Mr. Tagbo Okeke is married to Sylvia Tagbo Okeke. He's a lovely father of 3 children, a young lady called Uzwamaka, that's my bestie's name, and 3 boys, Ozzy, Kanye Yachuku, Kanye, and Michaela. He's a graduate of Political Science, University of Ibadan, MSc Legislative Studies, NILDS. He works at the National Assembly under the Office of the Clerk to the House of Reps. Thanks very much. He is the board and co-manages the Kanye Yachuku Autism Foundation. Welcome, Mr. Tagbo Okeke.
Woo, yes, round of applause. Feeling that daddy energy about to happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. So please, Mr. Okeke, tell us how your special needs journey started and how you received your diagnosis for your amazing son, Kanye.
Okay. First of all, thank you guys. Thank you for having me. Like I said before, I'm really excited to be here because I really, I relish and I treasure every opportunity to speak about Kanye Chiku, first of all, and then also to talk about kids with special needs, and then generally to talk about kids. So thank you. Thank you for having me. My journey with autism started when Kanye was born, of course. See, this is always the issue with a lot of autistics. They look totally normal. So when Kanye was born, he was, normal kid. My wife used to call him, the most beautiful. Kanye was really light skinned, very fair. And everybody was, Kanye. So we just noticed that at about the age of 2, maybe 2.5, a few things were slow. His speech, his cognitive skills were a bit slow. Of course, we took him to a lot of specialists, a lot of doctors, and everybody kept on saying the same thing. Oh, he's a boy, the development is slow, not as quick as girls. But I kept on telling them, I have a girl and then I have a boy, and I never had these problems. Not every child grows the same way. Okay, fine. So we unfortunately left him, and all we were doing was just taking him from one school to the other, believing that it was something that, we could deal with. Maybe it was just a slow developmental process. So it came to us finally when he was about 3.5. The last school that we took him to, quite a really good school in Abuja here. They just called me one day and said, listen, they couldn't handle it any longer and that I had to take Kanye for proper treatment. And I'm like, proper treatment? Nobody has told me anything. Every time I ask, because I was particular about Kanye, so I pick him up from school, I drop him in school. If I don't, my wife would, not a driver, not a nanny, because we were really, really, really particular about him. So when they told me they couldn't handle it any longer, we took him out. We went to one specialist somewhere. I'm not going to mention names. She also said the same thing, that he's fine. And I told my wife, no, he's not fine. Let's not kid ourselves, because that period was the period where we were just living in denial. So we just said, okay, I told her, let's see if we can get him out of the country. So we went, he was born in Canada. So we took him back to Canada, and there immediately we were told that he had autism.
Wow.
Now, that's when the journey began. So now I know he has autism. I started trying to find out what autism was all about, because even I too, I didn't know what autism was all about, So I started reading and I started Googling, and, Google is not really your best friend sometimes. Just reading stuff.
Tells you things you don't want to know.
So the journey started from there. We came back to Abuja. We got him enrolled in a particular school where we insisted that he had to have a shadow to be in class with him, because we wanted to, in all our readings, we stumbled on what was called inclusive learning.
Yes.
And we just wanted him to have that inclusive learning. We wanted him to be a part of other kids. Of course, remember that he was about 4 years old by then, 4, 5, and there was still this idea that, things can be okay. He can get totally fine and he can be better. So, I thank God that we had those ideas. And now that I think about it, some of those ideas are kind of dumb, but, thank God we had those ideas, because of those ideas, we kept pushing and we kept pushing and we kept trying to, take him here, take him there. We got the shadow for him. We got an institute in Abuja called OLG, and OLG was working with him as well. And then from there, we started looking for what are the things that we could do to keep him busy. We tried soccer, we tried basketball, which he still plays right now, and then we went into arts. We went into arts. Now his going into arts was totally different journey.
I'm going to stop you for 1 second, because you're actually going into the next question.
Which is fine.
Okay.
So it's fine. So it's basically asking, how you discovered his creative talents, which I'm sure you're just about to go into, so you can actually really expand on that. And how did you find that painting was an avenue of expression for him?
Okay.
Yeah.
How we got to discover Kanye's artistic skills was, Kanye would come home from school and he'd get pieces of paper that were lying about, and he'd be scribbling on them. He'd keep scribbling and scribbling. And so we thought, okay, this is something to keep him busy. So we would get rolls of paper and keep it. And we tell him, take just 10 pieces, take 5 pieces. When you turn your back, can you use up the whole wall?
Paper.
And he scribble. And when I turned the back and I said, okay, use the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say no. Of course, he was non-verbal. So he just shakes his head down. Okay. So we left him. And he kept scribbling. And it was almost becoming a bother.
Like obsessive.
Yeah. Because you have pieces of paper lying all over the house.
Everywhere.
Every day, every hour, all over the house, on the floor, on the bed, everywhere. And so one day we were blessed. We were blessed to have this friend of my wife come to the house. And she goes, why don't you take him to an art class or an art school? And I was like, but they teach them art in school. Okay, go find out if, he's being carried along. We found out he's not really interested when he gets to school. So we took him to this art teacher. We were blessed again that the first art teacher we went to was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't work with him. And then we met this Pakistani lady. Her name is Mrs. Kukab Farouk. And immediately we got to her studio. She says, can we leave him and go? Let her see. She doesn't know anything about autistics, but she just wants to sit down with him alone. And so we left. Before we got home, she starts calling. I'm thinking, okay, there's a problem. And she's like, listen, you brought a genius to me.
Wow.
That the strokes, what he's doing, nobody can do it. Even adults don't do it. And I need to, can you keep him with me? I need to work with him. Wow. I said, well, I can't keep him with you, but I can bring him every day.
I can bring him to you.
Can you just hand him over?
I can't have my child.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. And I'm like, wait, keep him no. So basically, that was how it started. And, I can tell you, that's really all I can tell you. From there, he starts painting, he starts to draw, he starts to paint. He goes he's an abstract artist. And that was how we discovered his talent. Now, Kanye being discovered, across the globe is another different story. I'll stop here just in case maybe that's the next question you want to ask me.
I see Tagbo has a sense of humor.
But it's almost like he's in sync.
And you can read, it's almost like you can read our notes for this episode.
I'm actually quite suspicious, but any which way, we actually wanted to find out about, Tagbo, and not Tagbo, sorry. Kanye. And, as you said, he's, gone around the globe. How has this been? What's the journey been like, with, Kanye exhibiting internationally? It must be amazing.
Okay.
How did it start?
Outstanding.
Exactly. Toye, I wanted to ask that question. How did it start? I love juicy stories.
Okay, and this one is a really good story. We had his paintings, at home. And then one day, my stepmom came to the house. And she was working in Vienna. And so she came to Nigeria. And she came to the house. And just jokingly, she says, Kanye, won't you give me one of your paintings? Give me one of your paintings. Of course, Kanye, in his typical way, just takes one painting and throws it at her. And you see, that part is the part that, I really like to stress, that understanding matters a lot when it comes to dealing with kids with special needs. There's another person that have just said, oh, you just threw the painting, you're not interested. Now, she knows that he has the problem. So she takes the painting, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And she takes it away. Now, she doesn't stop at that. She takes it back to her office in Vienna and she hangs it on the wall. Somebody comes to see her in her office and says, who painted this? This is fantastic. This is lovely. And she says, my grandson. And then the person is like, how old is your grandson? And she says, 5. And the person says, it's not possible. It's completely impossible. And she says, you want me to put him on the phone? So she calls me. I don't pick. She calls my wife. My wife picks. They talk. And then the person is saying, can you get your grandson to come to Vienna for an exhibition? And she says, okay, she's going to talk to me. She calls me. I tell her, listen, I don't have the money to fly to Vienna right now, so I'm not going to Vienna, okay? The person, she's like, no, they need you to be here on so day. I said, they're even giving me dates. I'm not coming, okay? I'm not coming, And then next thing, they call me back and they say, no, they want to know what airline we want to come with and what hotel we prefer. I'm like, you're flying us in. It's like, yeah. I say, okay, how many of us are you following?
The Igbo came out. The Igbo came out.
How many of you?
The Igbo man.
Yeah, proud Igbo.
How many of us?
Yeah, proud Igbo. I said, how many of us? They said as many as few people are.
Wow.
I said, he has a shadow. They say, okay. I said, okay, you're going to fly him and myself and my wife. They said, yeah, definitely. And then I'm like, he has his brother. They're like, yeah, just send the list. So we send the list. We still don't know what we're going in for, Kanye was listed amongst 3 very great African artists to showcase their work at the Okeke Fund for International Development.
Wow.
That was the first one.
Heavy.
Now, while that was being put together, the Archduke and Duchess of Austria saw his works and said that they wanted his works to also be exhibited in a museum which they co-founded.
Wow.
While that was going on, while that was going on,
wow,
he was listed to be given an award. There was a selection process, and his name was amongst those. At the end of the day, it was agreed that he should be given an award. So he was given an award, the Flame of Peace Award, at Vienna by the Archduke and Archduchess of Austria. And then while we were there as well, we now also started getting offers from different museums in Austria, asking for his artworks to be flown in, that they wanted to exhibit them. I think at first the buzz was he was 5 years old. Mm-hmm. And then it became a bigger buzz when they found out he was also autistic. So that was how the journey to his international, what would you call
Fame.
it? I wouldn't say stardom, but his international, all around.
I mean, it just seems like such an amazing blessing.
Honestly.
And while,
Yes.
every special needs child may not be so talented, you still accept them where they are. And what I'm getting from your story is that you and your wife just decided to accept him as he is. He just happened to have this talent.
Yeah.
And it's important for our listeners to know that just as with neurotypical children, we don't know what they're going to be. We hope for them as we hope for our special needs children. And some do have amazing talents and some don't. And it's the same thing with our specially able children as well.
Honestly. I mean, I'm in awe. Anyway, so tell us a little bit quickly about the Kanye Chukwu Autism Foundation, as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible, this foundation was set up to take care of kids who are living with autism. Now, what we did is we built a Kanye Chukwu Autism portal. So what the foundation does is we have identified institutions and schools around the areas where these autistic children live. So what we now do is we get a donor to pay for their tuition and to pay for their therapy around where they live, because we don't want to have to go through the stress of an autistic child having to take transportation. No. So around where they live, we identify schools who are ready to work with these children in order to, of course, enhance inclusivity. So that's what we're doing right now. Now, we are focusing on Abuja. We're starting with Abuja because we just started this foundation last year. Of course, coupled with the COVID and all that, we had to slow down. We are planning to launch that portal at Kanye's next exhibition, which is going to take place in April, Autism Month, World Autism Month.
I hope we get the invite.
I'll definitely send it to you, Queen Samurai. I'll get it to you. So we're going to launch it on that day. We have a lot of people already. We've got a lot of people who have made pledges already. So everybody's going to be able to track any child who you are sponsoring. We're going to have a link, the donor to the child. So you know exactly what you are paying for. You'll be paying for tuition, you'll be paying for therapy, you'll be paying for feeding, whatever it is that you want. We have a list, and whatever it is that you want to provide for a child or children, it will be there for you. So that's what we're doing right now. Why we are doing this is because in this journey, we found out that there's so many kids who are living on the spectrum, who are at home, who are locked up. either because of the stigma associated with it, or either because the parents just cannot afford to look after them.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that, they too have an opportunity to fly.
Thank you so much, Tagbo. That is just an amazing initiative and so helpful for children. Now, we've come to a very special part of the podcast, and we are so looking forward to what you're going to share with us. So this section is called The Honest Truth. Honest truth. So you have 1 minute to share an honest truth which you've never spoken out, never told anyone about. Something about this journey, something about autism, something about Kanye, or something that you've never shared with anyone before. And you have the opportunity to share with us here in this beautiful audience your honest truth. Over to you.
Honest truth. Honest truth for me would be, I come out on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I talk about Kanye. I'm his biggest fan. I hail him all the way, everywhere. And it looks like as if I'm living a fantastic life. But you see what I go through and what we go through every single day. Sometimes Kanye is throwing a tantrum. Sometimes Kanye has a meltdown. And we have to manage him. Most of the reasons why I have to travel with him alone is because he has a meltdown more often when his mom is around. So I have to always be with him to calm him down. It's a very painful experience. It's a constantly painful experience. He had a meltdown like day before yesterday. In the morning. It happens anytime. It can happen at the airport. It can happen at the mall. It can happen in church. It can happen anywhere. And when it starts to happen, even up till now, no matter how I try to propagate, I try to tell people, I try to do whatever, you still have this little tiny, itsy bit of anger within you. Why should it be him? Why should it be me? Why should I be going through this with him? So number one is I still have that feeling. Number two is I am very grateful to God. This is something I'm going to be sharing with you, with my Queen Samurai for the first time, with anybody. I'm very grateful to God. I know, yes, some people have it really, really worse. Sometimes I look at him, and especially when he's having those meltdowns, and even sometimes when he's just with his brothers, and everybody's playing and he's just on his own, I just wish my boy was just a normal boy that I can just, I sometimes have this feeling because I tell you one very dreadful feeling that comes upon most parents who have kids with special needs is what's going to happen if I'm not there to look after this child? How will this child be independent?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I have those thoughts and when I have these feelings, I just wish my boy was just a normal child,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for opening up your heart to us and to our listeners. I'm sure Queen Samurai is like, oh yes, that's amazing.
If everybody is wondering who Queen Samurai is, it's Tanye. I claim it.
Thank you so much.
Tanye and Obafemi, let me just say a word to Tagbo. On this talk, you are not alone. Very much. I have that feeling all the time. Because my daughter has severe cerebral palsy, and I wake up feeling, why me? Yes, you still have that when you have to go through the order. You post on social media all the fantastic pictures, but you know what goes on in the house and how your everyday looks like. So I'm with you. I'm giving you a virtual hug right now.
Yes, giving you all the hugs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tagbo. So we've run out of time, and it's really, I wish we could do another episode for this one. I'd really like to thank our guest, Mr. Tagbo Okeke. You have been amazing. And where can we find you on social media?
I think I'm friends with Queen Samurai. But for Kanye Chukwu, just Kanye_Tagbo.
Okay.
Okay. To see his artwork, you get to see his programs, what he has going on for the year. And what we're trying to do with his foundation. You can follow Kanye on Instagram, follow him on TikTok and on Facebook.
Kanye_Tagbo. All right, fantastic.
Yeah, Kanye_Tagbo.
Fantastic. So I'd like to say a big thank you to Mr. Tagbo Okeke, also to my beautiful co-host, who I'm now going to be calling Queen Samurai. And also the wonderful Bukola Ayinde as well. You can also, of course, find us on social media with our handle at Special Moms Africa. And join us next time on Special Moms Africa, Real Talk on Special Needs Parenting. Until then, we say sayonara. Bye.
For sponsorship inquiries, you can DM us at Simone's Oasis on social media or send an email to hello@simones-oasis.com.